Hey guys, how's it going? And today I'm bringing you another Warspite replay from Cruisnick's 01 Kane. And I have been putting out quite a few Warspite replays lately. It's mostly because this guy keeps sending in just replays where he makes amazing things happen. Honestly, it's really impressive and I really enjoy watching them. But it's probably going to be the last Warspite replay I put out for a while because I don't like doing a lot of the same ships on my channel. I like to keep it mixed up and, you know, keep it random. I don't want to post the same stuff over and over because it kind of gets boring watching the same ship do the same thing. Even if it's a slightly different player doing a slightly different thing. It's still the same ship, same stats. You're still going to see it do mostly the same thing, and I'm still going to only be able to give the same advice. So, kind of like what I did with the Iowa and Tirpitz videos, I'm going to take a break from the Warspite, work on some other ships, and hopefully somebody can send me some really good replays of some other ship lines. I know I just put out a Russian cruiser video last week, and hopefully somebody can send me some of those because I really would like to see some people doing really well in those. And feel free to send whatever else. But for this map, we are on Ocean, and it is the domination mode on Ocean, which I have started to kind of enjoy. It is really it's a map where if your team gets rolling, you're going to profit really well. And there's no places to hide, so you don't have somebody hiding in like a corner behind an island. You can still hide in a corner, but the enemy fleet's gonna find you eventually. And it really inspires team play because somebody can't say, oh, I like going to these islands better, so I'm gonna go over there, like people do with Trap. It kind of forces you to move as a fleet and work together. Usually the team that focuses a target down better or pushes harder with their destroyers usually gets the advantage pretty quick, and you'll see that team start to pick up steam, and eventually they may win if they play it correctly. But that can also go badly, as you can push, half your cruisers can show their broadside along with your battleships, your destroyers could get caught out by other destroyers, and you could just completely lose that push and get pushed back all the way back to your spawn, and simultaneously just lose all the caps. So it can kind of bite, but usually I see the team that's pushing winning more often. But for now, we have an enemy New York that's coming towards the A cap that we are on. Or not quite on, we're behind. We are supporting the 2 cruisers and 2 destroyers that are down here. So we just gotta wait for that New York to get into the Warspite's little range. Well, mediocre range, I should say. It's not exactly tiny, but it's not amazing, to say the least, for its tier. But I've made that clear in other videos. And there's a Clemson off by B that's a little bit closer than this New York. But I think we're kind of stealth right now. I almost said New York. The Warspite's a very stealthy ship. And now he's detected at 11.8 kilometers from that Clemson. So it's a very stealthy battleship, allowing you to get close before you choose a target and launch some shells at it, which this Nuremberg just was singled out as being the target. Sadly, RNG said no, and every one of those shots missed. But that Clemson is still about 11 kilometers out. That Nuremberg is right behind it. And he is turning broadside to us. Our guns are just about reloaded. And that's a nice angle right there to score some citadels if he stays in a straight line. And there goes the shells. He might have turned for that carrier torp. Doesn't matter. 2 citadels almost one-shots him. And leaves him on 2,000 health for somebody to finish off. Also takes out his engine, so it makes him a fairly easy target. Cruisnick designates him to tell his team to focus him down and take him out. And some shots coming in from the side. I'm thinking that was the New Mexico off to the side. But for now, Cruisnick's not going to waste any of his massive alpha damage on that low health cruiser. He's going to launch a bunch of shells at that New York. New York is sailing broadside, of course. Hits it right on the bow for 10,000 damage. Nuremberg is still alive. Come on, team, hit it. They've hit it a couple times, but it's still at 1,000 health. And there's a Congo off to our left side at 12k that could become an issue. The other issue is that New Mexico across the map's really focusing us down, and we are kind of showing our broadside to him. So Kruznik's gonna have to angle his ship away from that, which is fine because it allows him to get his guns on the New York. Sadly, he doesn't really want to turn his guns all the way around or his ship all the way around to shoot at that Congo. The guns are very slow, and turning the whole ship would eventually show the broadside to this New York, which would be an issue. But he's looking to finish off that Nuremberg, since his team really didn't, and it's still at 1,000 health. But for now, that New York is still showing a fairly large part of its broadside. He fires off the 2 front guns at the New York. That Clemson is really close. 8 kilometers. Not sure what the Clemson's range on its torps are. It used to be really short, but I know they buffed it. But shots out on that Nuremberg. Our secondaries are opening up on the Congo. That Clemson is now starting to shoot at us too, so he's probably got torps out somewhere. And we just lost a ship next to us to the Congo. Another shot at the Nuremberg. Hopefully he stays in a straight line. Another shot out in the direction to make sure he does. Or make sure they hit. There goes the Congo to secondaries. And there goes the Nuremberg to our primaries for a double strike. Always a good reward to see for those nice speed flags. Really nice on destroyers. And ooh, that one's gonna sting. Either the New York or one of the battleships to Kruznik's side clipped him really good right in the Citadel. Destroyed one of his turrets, one of the 4 on the Warspite, which really can hurt your damage sometimes. And took off a lot of his health. Warspite can heal a lot though, so just gotta take out this New York so we can angle to the New Mexico and hopefully kill that Clemson. I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't have any torps rolling in from that Clemson because he was pretty close. Maybe he got scared off by the Warspite secondaries, I'm not quite sure. But our secondaries are starting to chew apart that New York. Shots out. Good hit. There goes the New York. 5,000 more damage to the totals. And there's that Clemson. He seems to have moved away. Must be he didn't like what the secondaries were doing to his ship. So now we gotta spin it around a little bit and engage that New Mexico. The enemy team pushed down north really hard, and they have both the B and C caps, but we did sneak a destroyer around, and he is at the carrier. The only issue is, as you can see on the minimap, there's also a cruiser up by their carrier. So, how skilled is that destroyer? Shots coming in from the New Mexico. Kruznik angles his armor quite well as the shots roll in, and basically deflects all of them. Now, who wants to be a nice target and show us their broadside? Is it going to be the New Mexico again? Yep, he is still sailing to the side so that he can get all of his guns shooting. Not always the best idea, but he did turn out a little bit. Not really good hits. 3 hits for about 2,000 damage. Not amazing. Could have been better for the angle he was at. And there's some torps rolling in. Not quite sure from what, but the enemy team does have 3 destroyers left, so. Oh, come on. Did we get lucky? Yep, we got lucky. All the torpedoes missed. And that carrier's still up in front of us. Looks like the destroyer missed the carrier and is now getting engaged by the cruiser up there. And he didn't live through that, as everyone probably expected. We also lost our carrier though, so that's not good for us. Kruznik's still shooting at that New Mexico. Hasn't really scored anything decent against him yet. We need a really good hit to get him out of the fight. He is the last enemy battleship, and we have 2 left along with a ton of cruisers, and it'd be a good idea to protect our cruisers. So we gotta get that New Mexico down, and somebody just slammed a good one. It must have been the other battleship. Slammed a really good one into the side of that New Mexico. We have that Clemson back in front of us. There's another 3,000 to the New Mex. And we have the carrier and another destroyer off to our side. But that Clemson's gotta go. So we got shots out on him, and they overshot. Our Nicholas goes down to the sheer volume of fire going in on him. And New Mexico, where's he looking? What's he looking at? I don't know. But he's taking some good hits. The team's focusing him down. That mine cause is not good to see next to us. But our secondaries are engaging him. We missed the New Mexico. That Clemson is now still in front of us, which is also not good. That's 2 destroyers right next to the ship. It's every battleship's worst nightmare. And since we can see neither of them, we're engaging on that full health Cleveland. And Cleveland sailing broadside gets Citadel. I like how everybody thinks that ship is invincible, and then a competent battleship driver comes along, throws one into the broadside, and demolishes them. So there's 2 more Citadels from the Cleveland. Thank you very much. And there's a 3rd destroyer. Every one of the enemy team's destroyers is now surrounding Kruznik. Secondaries are going off on both sides of his ships, ripping into these little destroyers. We're engaging the Cleveland with the main guns. Will it take him though? No, he dodged him, leaving him at about 2,000 health, and the team finished him off. Still 3 destroyers though. That is not good. And there's a torpedo warning. Slightly behind us, probably aimed at the cruiser or the other battleship. Secondaries are going off again at the Mutsuki. And we have to get into B to stop the enemy from getting points, because it is a really close game right now. Torpedoes off to the other side of the ship. Gotta turn in, and all the torps are dodged. And secondaries still opening up on that Mutsuki. Kruznik obviously really trusts his secondaries because he's ignoring that destroyer with his primaries. I'd smash that thing to bits right now because I do not like those close to my battleship. And how do we want to list those rewards? Well, his secondaries got the destroyer. We can start there. The Cleveland died to another Citadel, giving the high caliber and the double strike for a second double strike this battle. To round it all off, that was Kruznik's 5th kill, giving him the Kraken. So it's just raining achievements in this. And it is absolutely insane the amount of achievements he just got in a row right there. And, ooh, that's gonna hurt. That was the carrier slamming torpedoes into him. Secondaries are going off again on the Clemson off to the side. There are 2 destroyers left. As far as we know, they are either in front of us. Oh, there they are. One's in front, and one's in, well, yeah, one's in front, one's off to our right now. Throw some primaries at that mine cause, not a Mutsuki this time. Secondaries are lighting him up. Just chewing away at these little destroyers. Torpedoes coming in again. There's the Clemson. Secondaries open up again. There goes the Clemson for another close quarters expert. He got us with a torpedo, which is not good. But Kruznik's damage control party is almost up. Will we see that other destroyer yet? Come on, come out, little buddy. We'll be nice. We'll make it swift. Uh-oh, here comes the carrier. He's finally taking notice. But we do have a cruiser with us, so those planes aren't going to be much use. And there they go. Didn't even get their bombs off. Thank you for the planes. More torps coming in from the Clemson that's still alive. Is it the Clemson or the mine cause that's still alive? I'm not quite sure. I think it's the mine cause. So the mine cause is still alive. There he is. Spotter plane picked him off. Not sure who spotter. But we're turning in, trying to get the primaries around on him. There's the shot. They look a little bit short though. Yeah, we missed. Secondaries are going though. There's another primary shell out. Oh, teammate got him. That's alright. We can live with 6 kills, can't we? Especially with this list of rewards. And here comes that carrier's planes again. That's not good. I'm not sure if that Cleveland has its defensive AA ability. But those planes are coming for this battleship. It sees the kill that he can get, and he wants it. There's the torps in the water. Will the points end first, though? One torp. Ooh, it's gonna be close. Oh, I think he would have dodged those, but we did cap out the points. He's not gonna flood out or anything, and he claimed victory in that. And that Warspite led the charge. He stuck it out even though all those destroyers were around him. He trusted his secondaries to be able to do enough damage to those destroyers that he'd be able to focus other targets, and he came out with a very good list of rewards and a lot of flags. I mean, all those awards give flags, at least the first one does, and that's a very, very hefty list of rewards. So very, very, very good job to Kruznik in this game, and I hope you like the rewards that you got from this battle. And for this, I'm only going to go show 2 of the after battle reports, because we know that he's on top of the team. He scored over 2,000 base experience, and he was just miles above his teammates, so I'm not going to show that one. I am going to show how much damage he did, and the post-battle results screen, the first one, I mean, that shows the experience earned and all that. And speaking of the first screen, he got almost 550,000 credits, which is a really, really good earning. Almost 5,000 experience, really good for converting into free experience and using on any other ship. So that is a that's basically a low tier module, at least around tier 5, or a large part of a mid tier hull, which is very good to get on a lot of the ships. But look at the rewards that he got. 2 double strikes, most people wouldn't even dream of seeing that. 3 close quarters experts, something a lot of battleships don't see unless they really go brawling, because you don't see battleships charging in to where there's destroyers like that. But 3 of them, one of them was against an enemy battleship, the rest of them were just tearing apart little destroyers, those poor little guys. Dreadnought award for taking so much damage and healing it. That's for taking over, I think it's 20% over your maximum health. So healing for about 120 of your maximum HP. And a Kraken for 5 kills, of course. He ended up with 6. So he definitely outdid that award. And a high caliber for the amount of damage that he did. 29 main battery hits, 7 planes, 4 incapacitations from the secondaries, 6 kills, of course, 5 citadels on those poor cruisers, and 1 base capture when he captured C. So, was it C or B? I'm not quite sure. But very good job to him. Really good list of rewards. And that just boggled my mind, the amount of rewards he got. So really good job to him. As for the amount of damage he did, almost 100,000 with just his primary batteries. And only, if I can stop stuttering, only 32 of those actually penetrated. Only 2 of them didn't, which is pretty good. It means a lot of the enemy ships didn't angle. Better them on the enemy team than yours. And his secondaries were just going to town this game. He had 423, if I can math right. 423 secondary battery shells fired. Only 35 of them hit, so not very accurate, but they still did almost 10,000 damage alone, which boosts him to about 110,000 total damage, which is just impressive if you ask me. For a battleship that was leading the way and surrounded by destroyers, you didn't get sunk and you did 110,000 damage and ended up on top of your team. Really good job to you, mate. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a great day.